So, if you guys have any questions or something you'd like me to kind of teach, go ahead and ask because that is kind of the priority. But other than that, let's talk about what price has been doing right now, and let's try and find also a trade if it displays itself. Let me just log into an account. Let's do this. Let's do trade day. All right. So let's start with our analysis. So ideally, looking at it from this aspect, right, we are in the very core of the 4-hour order block, the very 50%. So this is a decent place to actually pivot in general, especially if we look at it from the daily aspect, how we took out daily sell side. So daily sell side was taken, we pushed up, we retraced to the 4-hour order block. If price fails to pivot here in high time frame, what does that mean? We're likely to go for the sell side of August 4th. Likely to go for that. Now on the hourly view, right, excluding the fact that we have the order block right there, we are in an hourly fair value gap. We are also, if we were to measure the whole range, in OTE, discounted price after tapping the hourly fair value gap. So it makes sense that we had this kind of reaction here in this area. Absolutely. In itself, it also seems like we inversed this 15-minute SIBI and we're retracing into it right now to potentially use this as a leg to push right back up, perhaps to head into premium, or perhaps to just perhaps a retracement to into premium to then continue going lower, or a potential beginning for what could be a reversal. Now, I like this. I like this structure that the 15-minute has given us. It's very telling. It has to respect this 15-minute VPR if we want to see any sort of bullish move higher. So if we want to be bullish, it's just straight up has to respect the VPR that we have right here. We also have quite the nice stop rate. You won't catch me saying this much, but technically it is relatively a retail pattern. It's about to make this push right there. This is what I'm expecting, what I'd like to see. But we can't be too oblivious of the fact that we did hit this SIBI right here. So we did take out the internal liquidity. We did push deep into the SIBI right above us, and we failed to break through it. We rejected it. Now, of course, it could just be, oh, we're coming right back down before trying again, possibly. Would that mean consequent encroachment and move higher with a close above, correct? Yeah, I would like to see price come into the 50% of the BPR and then push up higher. Notice how we didn't complete the 15-minute CISD. Well, there is that. It's all confluences. Because at the end of the day, the thing with every trade setup that you see and that you try and calibrate, it's always going to be a probability thing. 2130 is like New York's 930. Gotcha. I'll keep that in mind. So Ez also took out the high. So let's see what I'm really interested to see what 50-minute does here. 50-minute VPR, 5-minute busy. If this fails, we can see prices coming right back down. So this is going to be the area that we're going to be focusing our attention on. We do have, you're right, we do have another VPR right here, but I'm more focused on the one that we have right in front of us, because ideally this is kind of like the sweet spot where equilibrium is in this expansive range. So I don't want it to push too deep down into OTE as well, because it would be disrespecting the firm PVD array we have right here for the next push up. So let me just highlight that what Adrian said, so don't forget it. 2130. You can expect a nice reaction from it. Okay. 1 minute time frame is doing a high resistance liquidity run. As always, when price is doing a low resistance liquidity one, we see these sort of moves right here. This is prime low resistance liquidity run. This right here is high resistance, as it is consistently just grinding down instead of doing large displacements easily. So I'm thinking it is generating liquidity. All of this lovely trend line liquidity to potentially swipe out with one nice pump. I guess we could say that I am bullish for continuation, but it really just depends on how structure respects this, if it respects it at all. I wouldn't jump into anything just yet. We're also in Q4. Okay. Oh, I don't think I did that right. Let's see. Let's try to build an information smaller time frame. I don't think that one is right either. All right, so now we're displacing. We ended up tapping into the 5 minute inversion, and we tapped into the 50-minute VPR. That was our area. Lots of respect in that area right there. So with that in mind, let's see if we get a solid close above this high, because if we get a solid close above this high, yeah, there's the solid close, we're gonna get a 2022 1 minute model with the respect of a 50-minute PD array with what seems to be relatively bullish order flow. So that is giving me what I would think would be confirmation for a nice solid setup to take. I want to see a busy form now that we can participate in. And we are in the 4-hour order block and 1 hour fair value gap. So there's a lot of confluences here giving us the hand. We got 14 seconds. I'm pretty sure this is going to be our busy. And VWAP is right there. Alright, there's our busy. So ideally, for the 2022 model, we do want to see a retracement into that busy. I'd say I'd be willing to take that. So this would be a classic setup. 20-point stop, something I'm definitely comfortable with. And then targeting the internal buy side heading into the CIBI right here, our little wall. And if it manages to break through, we'd be targeting we'll be targeting higher points of the range. Next would be this. Let's see how price comes back down here. Let's see. I don't think it really confluences with stat map here though. That's okay. Oh, it tapped it, but I was kind of hoping for swing low first. Because Nasdaq has me all paranoid, but it could just shoot up from here. So the fact that did that, I'm gonna wait for another candle to kind of just push down, and I'll slap a size. And if it comes back lower and I like it, I'll slap another size. Alright, let's give it a shot with this. And if it comes back lower, I'll see if I add the full size. Alright. So far it looks like an adequate swing low, right at the busy. If it's an IO Fed, that's going to be absolutely fantastic for us. It would give us a greater confidence that price might go for all of this trend line liquidity here. So this is definitely going to be our solid draw for the moment. See if we can get it. We want to see this high be taken out with displacement as well, so we can get that nice sentiment of continuation. Ideally, we would want it to be a low resistance run. We don't want it to be any high resistance. Otherwise, that is going to trip me out a bit. Click and clench. The only reason this would be iffy when I say if it's high resistance is because if we have the right draw of liquidity, assuming that the right draw is this high right here, we wouldn't want it to take so long. And this right here is a swing high, so it's telling me that it's failing to displace even higher. So this is not going to be an IO Fed. We might just end up making an inducement by taking out this low again. And of course I'd want to see a positive reaction right here once more. So we ended up tapping again into the busy. Not an IO Fed, unfortunately, but as long as it respects it and looks to make another high, it's cool. We ended up making a 1 minute divergence right there as well. You're looking for another raid, Adrian? Yeah, that's definitely possible. Since this is the 50-minute BPR and the 5-minute, yeah, it's possible. But I would say that the 5-minute raid already happened here. I don't think it's really necessary. Because this would be the 5-minute inducement already here. But it could just be a 15-minute one next. I'd want to see it displaced now. Alright, let's see it take out the high. Once it takes out this high, we want to see it obviously close with the displacement and take out these internal liquidity right here. Then you can put your stop at break even and hold it. Oh, and Q didn't sweep it. No, looks like it swept it to me. Alright, there we go. So ideally we want the candle to close firmly above. We do not want it to close below this high that we've just taken out right there. Don't want it to close below. Alright, it closed above. A little bit hectic, but it's doing what it's supposed to do. Now we did take out some internal liquidity right here, but since we have so much trendline liquidity here, I'd assume that it's good for continuation. That is not a nice reaction there. Let's push it right back up. Yep, like that. Yeah. JD likes to call it LRLR. I like to call it trendline liquidity, but really it's the same sentimentality. It's just liquidity that's generated and that's easy to take out with one expansion. You know how all of these ICT concepts are same things but different names. Yeah, I don't like how it's failing here. Well, it's not exactly failing, but it's struggling to continue pushing up. Ideally, I want it doing like on a clean swoop. Let's see it displace more. We do have this volume imbalance that we rejected right there. Alright, this is looking a bit ugly, but we retraced into the tiniest of tiniest busies right there, and we are respecting that busy, so stop is going to be placed at break even, making this a free trade. We want it to run through the bearish PD race that it has present, being this volume imbalance right here. Close above the new high. Once it closes above the new high, we should be solid. $14 more seconds. I do not want to see it respect this volume imbalance anymore. Oh, I closed right on it. Still looks solid though. 5 minute looks lovely, really. 5 minute looks like a perfect 5 minute inducement into the VPR for the expansion up so far. The 1 minute is the one that looks a bit ugly. 15 minute looks pretty nice as well, with the retracement into the VPR and push upward. So yeah, it's just the 1 minute that's lacking. There's a lot of nice confluences to just hold. I'm gonna delete this. I think it's gonna run right through it any moment now. Yeah, I don't like how it's so slow. So right now it's like we're doing a high resistance push up, 1 minute based. else do we have? We do have this little civvy right here that we're also failing to close above. We need to inverse it. After that, there's nothing really else here that could confluence for the push down necessarily. Or at least nothing that I would say is too dangerous. We do have this, but this is kind of been ran through a bit. There we go. So now we're taking out the LRLR. I want to see that clean push all the way to the top of that bit civvy. Oh yeah, 1 minute looks ugly right now, but if the 5 minute wise, this is a beautiful inducement into that 5 minute BPR, and 15 minute the retracement into the BPR itself as well. So that's why there's multiple confluences to just hold this. And that's why I'm not really scaling out. If this was New York session, I would be encouraging scaling out and everything like that, but it's not. So I'm feeling like we're going to take out all of this in one clean move. Well, yeah, I'd hope it's clean. So I don't necessarily feel the urge of scaling or anything. All right, we are up 40 points. Let's see if we can hit that 60 mark. Maybe, we'll see. Depends on how it reacts here, because right now this has been the wall that has held price down. And this could be either a retracement or the beginning of a reversal to push into deeper premium. So after it invalidates the civvy, that's when you can really tell what it might be. But until then, it's just kind of like, okay, it's going to reach the civvy, might take out this buy side. We'll see what comes next. If you guys want to play a little bit conservatively though, I would encourage to take out here. Scale out once it takes out the buy side right here. All right, there it is. Let's see if it hits our mark. Come on. I want all of the liquidity. So the rejection is expected because, like I said, this was the highest point of internal, but this was the one that was right in the civvy that we have right here. That's the wall. We need to break through this to get that big move up, or to expect that big move up. So that's why I suggested to scale out there. I do want to see it take out this high, and if it does take out that high, this could be another 15-minute 3 drive to potentially push lower, or this could be it to just send it completely to the upside. All right, we're about to hit our 60-point mark. Almost there. Yeah, if you guys want to take it early, you don't need to hold too much. I'm being a little bit greedy here. You know what, chaps? Depends on how Asia moves, because I never do this. I never trade Asia. I haven't traded Asia in so long, but the volatility makes Asia move good. Like, this is an A+ setup. I'll go over it in a bit for the lesson part, but this was an A+ setup and it's moved very nicely so far. So we'll see if it becomes a more continuous thing, depending on how it moves. All right, so that's the rejection. Now we're gonna do this the right way. So with the rejection right there, it's showing us first of all that it did fail to break through the SIBI. Now we are going to see how price reacts to this bullish fair value gap right here. Now theoretically, right, when we trail our stops, we should do it at each swing low that happens after the expansion. Now the nearest swing low that we have is this one right here, so technically it would be raised here, not much, but for risk management purposes, we're going to be waiting to see how price reacts to this busy right here. If it invalidates it, we'll just exit. I was trying to be greedy and get the absolute highest point. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but we will be monitoring closely. Yeah, I'd say it's this clean just because of the great volatility that's in the market right now. Otherwise, I don't think it's ever like this. But I never look at the charts in Asia. I think you'd have to ask Cozy. She's the one that always trades Asia. Or Adrian. Yeah, right? It's like a 16, 30 point range. Always choppy, little to no volume. But it's been moving stellar. Alright. If this makes a new swing low, we can trail our stop to the swing low right here. Ideally, we want it to respect this busy and give us the continuation upside. Yeah, I have no idea what it is, but I like it. And if it's going to be like this, then we're going to make Asia sessions a thing so that I can avoid trading New York.
My sister testified against me in court.
Nah, I was watching a little video that popped up. Market structure shift is what MSS means. We'll go over it all once the trade concludes. So you're all at the same pace of why this was such a good trade and a high quality one as well. Alright, so far we respected the busy. Once a new high is made, stop will be raised to the nearest swing low, trailing it with structure. I wish New York session moved like that. Look at the respect of it. So well calculated. I feel like in New York, this would have been closing below here, then a random candle up. Would have been ugly. Alright, I think we're gonna go for my target now. So stop has been raised to the pro nearest swing low, as I mentioned. Give me the 60 points. Literally, Lay. New York session would have been doing some random stuff here with ugly price action before doing this. Alright, so we are challenging a little volume imbalance right here, right now. This is our bearish beauty ray that's holding price. We need to break through it. And if done so, I believe we will take out that high. Right, rejection. Let's see how Ez is doing, our little neighbor. Ez made equal highs right there. Okay, kind of like a divergence. But let's see if the bullish structure and order flow can continue our push up. We have a 1 minute order block. Still rejecting the volume imbalance, but it's getting there. And there it is, 60 points. Bam, lovely trade. Oh shit, it's spooling. It's going even higher. Well, there you go, for those that wanted to secure more. That is such a refreshing trade. I wish New York moved like, oh, is it gonna go for the liquidity all the way now? Well, now I regret selling. Okay, just completely ran through the SIBI. So no doubt it's going for this high, but I already exited, so I'm not going to be able to enjoy that move. Good stuff even. If Asia moves like this every day, I'm definitely streaming it, because this was beautiful. But let's go over the education aspect, right? So, class and stream. Let's talk about the class part now. This is an A+ setup. This is one of those setups that are so beautiful, especially when it works out like this. And the reason behind it is all the confluences that we had from the very beginning, right? So I'm going to delete the drawings for now. Let's go over it one by one. I mentioned we reached a pivot point where price was very likely to shoot up, right? The 50% of the 4-hour order block. So if it were to pivot anywhere, it would be right here, high time frame wise. In addition, we already took out high time frame sell side. So unless we were going to go for sell side again, this is going to be the area where price was most likely going to push up. There was the addition as well that if we were to measure the range, we were in discount and we were in OTE. So bam, 4-hour time frame, I mean better said high time frame, it's supporting our idea for a long. Now mid time frame, what does the mid time frames tell us? The 15-minute and the 5-minute gave us all the information we needed to see. Let's go back to the drawings that I had. The 15-minute time frame showed us a stop rate right here with the invalidation of the SIBI for a nice VPR that we were traced into, respected for the push up. So 15-minute setup, giving us the green light. 5-minute structure. The 5-minute structure showed us a 5-minute inducement as well as the VPR. So price came into the 5-minute VPR, induced by stopping out the people that were previously long by taking out this low. So second confluence. And now what was the trigger? The 1 minute 2022 model. We had the raid, So price took out again, stops, wiping people out, then did a displacement and made a market structure shift, telling us that it has a probability of going higher. Quick retracement into the 1 minute busy. We thought it was going to be an IO Fed. It did get a little bit iffy, but price came right back down, respected it, and decided to shoot up. Completely respected the bullish structure right after by making new highs, and then even after it took out all of the liquidity, right? We said it wanted to take out the trendline liquidity here. Retraced, respected the busy, super clean, came right back up, and made the dream work. So that's an A plus setup. Why? We had high time frame confluencing, we had mid time frame confluencing, and then we had the 1 minute giving us the signal to give it a shot. The risk to reward was also there, as you can see. We were risking 20 points for the invalidation to target 64. That's a 1 to 3 risk to reward. Absolutely beautiful. And of course, because this was trendline liquidity, we didn't have to worry necessarily about scaling out. It's something you can practically just hold with high confidence that it might just swoop all the liquidity in one go. I was expecting this to happen earlier, but I guess they wanted to save it for the grand finale. Just one of those things. But really nice trade. The 21 open. Right. Let's see. Yep, you're right, Adrian. It did do that too. So that's an extra confluence right there. So, like I said, this is a game of probability, right? If you want to have ideally everything showing you signs that the idea that you have has the greatest probability of success. And ideally, you do that by measuring the high time frame, the mid time frame, the small time frame. If they all confluence together, A+. If only two confluence together, you could say B. If only one confluences together, you can say C. Now, of course, it changes based on the models and the structures in display, but ideally, that's kind of how you want to go when it comes to prioritizing what is a really good setup to take and what is a setup not risk worthy of taking per se. But that was great. I think that's going to be my only trade of Asia. I don't think I'm going to trade anymore now that my idea has been completed. Although I do feel like we're going to definitely keep going higher. So if you guys are holding runners, might as well just keep holding. But that was a beautiful move. It's been like freaking forever since I've seen Nasdaq do something like that in New York. This is screenshot worthy. Nice, Gwen. Alright, so if you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask before I end the class. I think it was a pretty good mix of session and class with live price. Alright, go ahead and ask about Blue Sky. Although I'm not super knowledgeable about it, I've been using them for a bit. So static is more of, I'd say static is very similar to a cash account, really. It gives you room, so it has end of day trading drawdown in a sense, and it lets you not have to worry about like a trailing stop just following you around. It's hard to describe it, but I'd say eval is like, imagine Top Step, and static is like a cash account pretty much. And yes, this is recorded. This is meant to be a class as well. And ideally, the way that I started this is how we want to start all of our morning sessions. The reason you guys don't see me doing that during New York is because New York is very flimsy. New York doesn't tend to respect things as much. Like, this is chef's kiss. I haven't seen a setup like this in a minute. But New York tends to be very messy, so that's why I don't really like consider doing the top-down analysis from top to bottom, because it doesn't really respect things. But during good, easy markets, this is what you guys want to do. You want to go from high time frame to mid time frame. You find your draw of liquidity. You wait for the 1 minute model to appear. Unicorn, order block, 2022, let's say root candle or quarterly theory with the Q3s. And then you participate for the draw. Yeah, it's been nice. We both think the same. And when we don't think the same, we still have similar ideas to each other and how price should react. Right. That is how a good London log looks like. And even for the short that happened was pretty nice in itself. So here we had price failed to take up buy side, right? So there's the failure. Okay, it failed. Let me just go over it. We had a 5-minute busy that was supposed to hold it to send it even higher. Failed again, closed through, retraced, inversed it, respected the 5-minute CB right here. So that's already what? Bullish PDRA ran through, disrespected, showing signs of not wanting to continue going higher. Inversion respected, showing signs of failure to even attempt to go higher. And CB respected, showing initiative to go lower. Right after that, you pretty much just want to look in the small time frames to find some confluence. And here was our great confluence. So in all of this mess that was going on in the 5-minute, the 1-minute gave you the sign. Price failed after this displacement higher to respect it. The moment it failed here, it pretty much telling you, okay, it has no business trying to go higher. It wants something down here, either be it this sell side, but it definitely wants to come to the downside. And you could have pretty much shorted this right here. Both directions were clean. And then the U-turn that happened, also clean. This was another classic 2022 model right here. We had stop rate. We had displacement with shift. We had retracement to unicorn setup. And then expansion right up. All of it beautiful. But alrighty. So I am... If you got, well, of course, does anyone have any other question? Yeah, these are literally the textbook setup. No other way to describe it. Super easy to see, super easy to understand, and no stress. Nah, this was the only trade I was gonna take. I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of my night. I might hop on in London if I see something worth it with Freedent. But otherwise I think I'm gonna have to wait for New York. But I do genuinely feel like if Asia session is gonna be like this all the time, I'm gonna do another Asia stream tomorrow. 100%. Alright then guys, I hope you enjoyed this class. Again, it was recorded, so if you guys want to watch the recording later on to try and see how an A+ setup looks like and how to identify it from top to bottom, go ahead. And I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Bye bye.